Today is the saddest day of my life. 4 years ago to the day, my mom, Jennifer, took her last breath. I want this episode to stand as a reflection from me to you on what 4 years of grief and loss looks like from my perspective. Not only what grief and loss looks like, but what it feels like, what's changed for me, what I miss, and maybe some advice to any first year grievers out there. Let's talk about it. So, you guys, we're actually going to be taking a little break from releasing episodes, but we will be back. Don't fret, we will be active on our socials. So, follow us there and keep up with our content. Let's get into today's episode. The years in between milestone years are really weird. So, I was talking to my producer not too long ago, and we were talking about how he believes that people need to stop celebrating their birthdays. And how real is that, right? Like 21, sure. 25, sure. 30, and then from there 10-year increments, right? But like don't invite me to do something extravagant for your 27th birthday, okay? Like and as we were having that conversation, it made me really recognize that it's similar for milestones and grief years too. And as I step into year 4 and as I reflect on 4 years without my mom, it really feels like the equivalent of a 29th birthday, you know? I'm not 30 yet. Feels like just another year, which is really interesting to me because it's very different than years past. And I feel like I'm feeling really normal. I don't even know if that is the right word that I'm looking for, but I don't know. I feel like milestone years are the years that hit for everyone on the outside. Like year 4 is like, oh, wow, it's 4 years without her mom. But if I'm like, ah, it's been a decade, or yeah, it's been 5 years, like, I don't know. I feel like that stings more. That's not necessarily how I feel, but that's how it feels, you know? So I want to start this episode off by talking about what I thought year 4 was going to look like. And this is an interesting one because it feels very different than I thought it would, to a point where like I really didn't even remember that the anniversary was coming up, which is so crazy. It doesn't feel as heavy and it doesn't feel as like, prominent in the forefront. I just remember thinking about last year. My friend Ashley came over. She texted me throughout the day and I didn't respond because I was down pretty bad. And she actually ended up just showing up at my house and baked me cookies and brought me Chipotle. And in the cookies, she put a 3 candle. And it meant so much to me. I still have the 3 candle as a little memorabilia. But it's just interesting because now this year, I feel like I'm going to respond and I feel like I'm going to be okay. It's so crazy what a difference a year can make. I think year 4 has really been about me realizing that grief doesn't shrink over time, but life really grows around it. Grief is your whole world for so long, and that is the forefront of it. As you walk in life, grief is always at the front of that line. But as you grow and as you heal and as you step into next year's, year 4 for me really feels like grief is still part of my world, but it's not running my world. And I don't know. I think it's interesting that that's come to me in year 4. So from year 3 to year 4, I now want to talk about what's actually changed. And this one's interesting because I feel like I don't cry as much as I used to. Is that because I've run out of tears from crying so much? Maybe. But I really think it's just I find joy in memories of my mom now, and I carry her differently. And I don't cry as much as I start crying. I don't cry as much because I'm able to carry my grief with a strength that I've built over the past 4 years that I didn't have before. I just remember having constant breakdowns all the time. And do not get me wrong, I still have my occasional breakdown, but it's not as frequent and they're not as heavy. I also talk about her differently now. I feel for quite a while, I was talking about her in a past tense way, and I still do, but I more talk about her as though she's walking with me and beside me. And I don't say my mom used to. I would say, I now say, like, I loved when my mom did, right? Or like before she passed, she did this. I would say, you know, just she used to do this. I carry her not for her dying any longer, and I carry her for who she was to me. And I'm really grateful for that shift because I think death is so heavy and grief is so heavy that when it is your world, that's what takes precedent. That's okay. That's a part of it. But I've really loved the part in my healing where her story gets told differently and more beautifully and more gently, and I understand it more. I carry her in all my decisions, and I was really afraid that I would lose her and lose the sense of clarity that she would give me. But I still now hear her so often. And like I said, I carry her so often. And not only do I carry her, but I see how much she's in me, in the way that I carry myself, in the way that I talk, in the way that I laugh, and even in the way that I look in the mirror is so her. And I can see that so clearly as I step into year 4. My whole life I was told that I look just like her. My dad is a chemist and he everyone would be like, "Oh my gosh, like Gabri is a science experiment. Like she looks so much like Jennifer." And I've got that my whole life, but I didn't really see it until she was gone. And I didn't really see it to its full potential, to its full capacity until just this past year. Such a blessing that no, I don't get to see her physically grow old, but I get to see her grow old in myself. How cool. I don't know. I feel like in year 1, I survived. In year 2, I unraveled. In year 3, I rebuilt. And in year 4, I get to carry. And what a privilege it is to carry it. I talk about it often, but grief is a privilege, not only for us that get to carry it, but for others around us. And that's something that I'm carrying into year 4 is the fact that it's a privilege to carry grief, and I get to carry grief. There's endless possibilities out there in what you do with your grief, but some of those possibilities are positive. So it's a beautiful thing. Next, I want to talk about how I feel grief has changed me permanently as I step into the 4th year without my mom. And it's so crazy because I am so different. I am so different, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, in every single facet. I am so different. And that's normal because, when you lose someone and you're grieving, you have to rebuild who you are. You die, the version of you that you were when you lose somebody dies with them. And so as you rebuild, you're gonna change. And I am so grateful that I'm not the same person that I was because I'm so much better now in so many different ways. I lost my mom when I was 25 years old. I had just started my first corporate job. I was in a relationship that wasn't serving me. I was with friends that weren't what I needed at the time. And those things obviously changed and made me a better person. I feel like I'm also less tolerant and I'm more intentional and I'm more caring and I'm more understanding and I'm more patient and I'm more open because I've recognized through all of your stories and through sharing mine that time is so limited. And if I were to die tomorrow, I don't want what how people know me and how people talk about me to be like, oh, she was always so negative. Ugh, she always had something to say, whatever it is, right? And so that's something that has really changed in me too, is that I used to be so quick to anger and slow to kindness. And I do believe that is the working of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But I also believe that grief has given me that gift to really put a filter on and filter out the bullshit, right? Like that's something that has changed in me so much. I used to care so much about things that didn't matter. And as I step into year 4, I will encourage you, let grief do that for you because grief can do so much for you. It takes a lot. from you. Boy, does it take a lot from you, but it has the ability to give you so much if you are willing and able to look for it. I encourage you to do so. Next, I want to talk about what I still miss about her. And I still miss everything about her. She was like the best. But what I missed the most was simply the way that she said my name. And I know that's really simple, but it was always so full of love and intention and pride. And it was always so soft, even when it was out of anger. Even when she used the full government, she said my name so kindly and so softly. I really miss the way that she said my name. But on top of that, I miss just calling her for mundane things so much. But in year 4, I like to see missing her and those mundane things as her just stopping by to say, hey. When I have moments like that where I miss her and I wish she was here and I wish I could call her, those moments now feel like a hug. And it's so special to me. Like I still do get to call her and she still does say, hey. And it's like a hug from her, which leads me to the next thing I miss the most. That woman gave the best hug, but every once in a while, I'll get a hug from someone and I'll just fall into it because it feels so much like hers. And it could be from random strangers. I don't I don't hug strangers like that. But like, I just remember recently I met some of my friends' friends and one of them hugged me and it was just like so familiar. And there are moments like that that I'll have where I miss her so much and I miss her hugs so much, but I also still really miss the things that she'll never see. Like, I miss how what she would think about this content. Stepping into year 4, I am confident in the fact that I know she would be so proud. And I know that she has her hands all over this. And that's not something I think I would have been able to see in years past. And last but not least, I do want to talk about what I would tell someone that is stepping into their first year of grief. And if that is you, you need to hear this. What you are feeling is not wrong. What you are feeling is so normal. The fog, the anger, the stress, the anxiety, the sadness, the everything that you are feeling is not wrong. Okay? Actually, if you weren't feeling like that, I'd be concerned. I wish I would have known that it is so normal to feel all of those things all at one time. It doesn't feel normal, but it is normal. And that's not failure. Okay? Like the feelings that you're feeling, the sitting on your couch for extended periods of time, all of that's not failure. It's a reaction to a separation from someone you love that you didn't agree to, that just happened to you. But eventually you're going to realize that it happened for you. And I think that that's a huge piece of this is eventually when grief starts to shift into a superpower for you, which I hope and pray it does for all of you, that's when you're really going to shine. And that's when all of the years past, you're going to look back and be like, wow, purpose. There's purpose in that. The grief you're feeling right now will not always feel this sharp, and you're going to miss it. Looking back in time, my therapist once encouraged me to write down every single day how I'm feeling that day, the anger, the stress, the anxiety, all of it. She's like, you're going to look back on this and you're going to miss the deep grief of losing your mom. And I do miss the deep grief. I miss like the deep feeling of missing her because I still miss her and I still feel the feeling of missing her, but there is nothing like losing your mom. And there is nothing like grieving, deeply grieving and feeling and having an excuse for all of your emotions to losing her or just your loved one in general, not your mom and me, for me, my mom. But for you, anybody, even if you can't see it yet, with every single day you wake up, you are becoming stronger. You are becoming wiser. You are becoming better. I know it's hard to believe that, and I know that it's hard to see that, but you're learning how to carry love as someone who has lost love, And that's not an easy thing to do, but you're doing it. I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, happy 4-year anniversary to me. I made it 4 years and dabbed myself up real quick. I'm proud of myself for that. It's been hard, but I'm really grateful for it. Not grateful that my mom died. I'm obviously sad that my mom died, okay? But I'm so grateful for what grief has given me. And I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you for being here. And we'll see you in a few weeks. All right. Until next time. Love you. Bye.